Hello, and welcome to West Croydon here in Croydon, where today we will be ranking 10 bus games on Roblox. These will each be ranked onto our very own bus game tier list, ranging from the best of the best in S tier, all the way to the worst of the worst in F tier. We will decide the order of the games with this wheel here. Shall we get ranking? This is Wolf Gaming. So then, here is the wheel that we will be spinning in a few seconds. The first thing I need to tell you is the categories. There are 5, which are bus detail, amount of buses, map size, map detail, and finally bus physics. All of the games that we will be playing today are on here, so all we need to do is to spin it. Let's go! The first game is Buses of NSW. So here we are in the game, and to kick things off, let's look at the amount of buses. There aren't that many, but each one does have a couple of liveries. I really love this game for how realistic it is. It's amazing that you can press buttons, as well as having to set up the bus manually.
2,000 years later.
Now that I have remembered how to start the bus, we can have a look at the physics. I think this game has one of the best, if not the best physics out of any bus game on Roblox. If you take a look as I am driving, you can really see how realistic the wobbling around is, as well as when I brake and accelerate. The suspension model is so good. Whilst we are here, you can also tell that the detail on the buses is incredible. Also, you can see that the map is not the most detailed, and you can easily fall off, which looks a bit like this. The size of the map is quite extensive, and does take a little while to travel around, but it isn't huge. For buses of NSW, I am going to place it into A tier. It's back to the wheel for our next game. And it's going to be Yapton and District. Let's take a look. First of all, here we are in the menu, where you can see that there are 4 operators, which each have quite a few buses. Once you spawn in for a company, you get to spawn the bus, where you can see that there are a lot of buses to pick from. Here is our bus, which looks decent. Unfortunately, the physics of the bus is just static, and there is no suspension, but I understand that it must be very hard to make. The map detail is okay, and the size of the map looks like this. It is quite large, and it is cool that it is part of the UK down by the coast. I'm going to place this game into A tier as well. The wheel returns. It is going to be Croydon. To kick things off here in Croydon, let's head to the bus selection screen where we can get a sense of how many buses there are. Wow! That is a stupid amount. We don't have an exact number of buses, but there has to be over 100 buses. Surely. As well as this, the detail on every bus is stunning, and looks so good. You can definitely tell that there has been blood, sweat and tears put into every single bus. On top of that, we also have a very good suspension model, and it feels great when going over speed bumps. This was a huge upgrade from when the buses had no suspension. I feel like it isn't as good as buses of NSW though, but it is still great. Inside the cab makes it even cooler when you go over the speed bumps. The map size is of course great, and takes a while to get from one side to the other. This also ties in with the map detail, and especially in central Croydon, there is some incredible detail. It feels like I am actually there. However, there are some parts, like the outskirts of Croydon, that don't have as good detail. So then, Croydon is of course going to head over to S tier, topping all bus games at the moment. We head back over to the wheel for our next game. And it is East London Bus Simulator. Let's jump in. First of all, there are 4 operators inside of the game, each having lots of buses as you can see here. Heading back to the menu, there are a lot of places to spawn, more than are on the screen, which means that the map size is pretty good. I also took a screenshot on Google Maps where you can see places in the game like Walthamstow and Canning Town. The buses have really good detail on them, and look very realistic. If we turn to physics, the buses don't have any suspension, which doesn't feel great. The surroundings around me aren't the most detailed, but still have some large buildings. The East London Bus Simulator is going to make its way to B tier. The next game is going to be transport buses. Let's have a look. So first of all, there are a lot of buses to choose from, and as I am being run over, we can see that the detail isn't the best. They do look like blocks on wheels with windows. There are some buses that have slightly extra detail, but they aren't amazing. As for the physics, this isn't great either, and feels very basic. I can even spin on the spot, which just proves that the rotation point is just the middle of the bus. If we look at our surroundings, this as well isn't very detailed, and is only colored blocks for buildings. Looking at the places that I can see, the map looks like a decent size, but I can't tell exactly. Unfortunately, transport buses hasn't impressed me, and it is going into F tier. Hang on. If you haven't already, why don't you subscribe to Wolf Gaming? It's completely free, and you can guarantee more videos just like this. Now back to the video. The wheel returns. And it is going to be Canterbury and District Bus Simulator. So then, here we are, and first of all, the amount of buses is incredible, with a huge selection to choose from. The detail on them is great as well, shown by this beautiful Enviro 400mmc here. There are also loads of other things like Christmas buses, which you will have just seen. In the bus, the physics do feel like all of the other games, and there is no suspension. I feel like the acceleration and braking is a bit too fast for a bus as well. From the main menu, we were able to see the main bus station, which looks very realistic. As well as this, the map size is huge, and from this photo on the screen, you can see how detailed the surroundings are. This game is going to find its way into A tier. We head back over to the wheel for our next game. And it's South London Bus Simulator. First of all, we are in the bus selection screen, where there are a total of 9 buses, but as seen here, the detail is very high quality. And from the route screen, the route length shows just how big the map must be. The physics of the game are like before, but for some reason I have no engine sound. I am not sure if this was a bug, or just how the game is currently coded, but either way that will reduce the score slightly. Also from here, you can see that the detail is okay, and we have the chance to fall off of the map. Let's try that, shall we? That was cool. The South London Bus Sim is going to make it to C tier. The wheel is back. And it will be Birmingham Vehicle Simulator. First of all, this game used to be named Project Birmingham, but it has been renamed. In this game we have 3 types of transport, including cars and emergency services, but of course there are buses, which is what we are here for. From the main menu, you can see that the detail around the map is really good, and does feel like a city. The game has a wide variety of buses, with all of them having a high amount of detail. Like before, the physics are the same as always. Driving around the map, you can see that the map is very large, and the surroundings are well detailed. This game will head over to A tier. Let's head back to the wheel for another game to play. And it is going to be Bathwick Town. Kicking it off in the main menu, we can see that there is a lot of detail around the map, and heading into drive mode, we can see that this game also has 3 modes of transport, these being cars, trams, and what we are here for, buses. There are an absolute ton of buses, which have lots of liveries, and are very realistic. There are so many liveries for the 400mmc, and there are even ones like the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. The physics are once again the same as before, but the steering does feel slightly more realistic. Driving around the map, we can see that the detail is quite good. The size of the map can be shown by how many places you can choose to spawn from, where there are lots. This game is going to go to A tier. For our final game, we have Sunshine Island's Bus Simulator. Who would have guessed? From this screen here, we can see that the map is really big, even having zones. From this route here, we can see that going around one island takes a while, and this challenge route tells us that from one end to the other takes over an hour. There aren't that many buses in the game, and the detail on them is okay. Of course, as this game is based off of Hong Kong, all of the announcements and things like that are in Chinese. The physics of the bus is once again like all of the other games, but going over a curb does seem to feel like there is a slight bit of suspension. It doesn't look like it though. The surroundings aren't the most detailed, but the high-rise buildings do make it feel like a city scene. Sunshine Island is going to make its way to B tier. So then, that is all of the games ranked, and here is our final ranking. Make sure to leave a like, and leave a comment on some more games for us to try out. The Wolf Gaming team wishes to see you in the next one, so for now, goodbye. And of course, a huge thanks to our channel members, who keep our channel running. And until next time, goodbye.
It's delicious.